Good day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. So glad that you're joining us today as we get equipped, educated, empowered, and elevated together, one human race. Because the better you are to yourself, the better you also are to your family, your community, your neighbors, the world at all. So we thank you so much for joining us. Let's just jump right in to some health alerts that have been elevated across the United States. Recently, the Center for Disease Control has elevated the concern about salmonella, an outbreak with frozen vegetables. So, not where they're doing a recall just yet, but where they want people to be very conscious to rinse their food as much as possible prior to cooking it. Whether frozen, don't take it straight out the bag and put it right in the oven, or in the refrigerator. Just take the extra effort to protect you and your family by making sure you clean your fruits and vegetables. Also, an alert was elevated about certain measles cases that have been increasing throughout the United States. They're up to, I think, 1,300 now that have been confirmed. 1,300. So you want to make sure as much as possible that you touch base during your annual physical, or if you feel any uncomfort with a medical professional. As important as you are to those around you, your health is that much more important. Remember, we need you here, not reading your story in your obituary. So touch base with your doctor if you start to feel anything, and remember to health is wealth. You get a lot more out of life and opportunities when you stay proactive. Also, they've elevated that there's a new outbreak of mosquito-borne illnesses that have been traveling the globe. So we already are very prepared as the summer months shift, right? As spring comes and fall, that as water sits around, they draw mosquitoes. Stay ever vigilant to make sure to discard the water. Make sure to rinse off and wipe off your deck if you have a deck, your patio, even leaving your shoes at the door. Many doctors, especially pediatricians, remind us regularly how important it is that when you walk into your home, you leave your shoes at the door, especially during the season changes. Because when pollen is ever present in the spring, for example, those wonderful buds on the trees and everybody's sneezing because the flowers are starting to come out. Well, if pollen is on the ground, it's on your shoes, and now it's up in your bedroom because you continue to wear your shoes through the house. So one of the very recommended practices by medical professionals is to leave your shoes at the door. If not outside, at least inside. And then, yes, family, feel free to throw those tennis shoes, those sneakers in the washing machine every now and then. You can let them air dry if you're worried about them shrinking. You know your gear. You know what's best for you. At the least, leave them and Lysol them. That's the practice that I use. Spray the inside and leave them if you have to, okay? But we got to stay health conscious. If you're getting bit a lot by mosquitoes, they could be putting those diseases under your skin, which cause those illnesses. So again, anything that you feel, don't take it for granted. Go see a medical professional. All right. You are too important to the world. Make sure that as much as possible when you're traveling, you also are very vigilant and aware. Find out what the country is experiencing well before you go. If you know you're booking a ticket to go to another country, you want to find out if there's shots that's required, if there's issues that they're dealing with there, and not just health in the air, what they might be experiencing, but also financially. You can get to some countries where they're experiencing financial crisis, and then you're stuck because you have the cash you have and you're not able to draw anything out of an ATM. So travel tips and travel advisories are extremely important. Make sure, again, that you're educated because health concerns are real, especially in other countries like polio, right? That's one that is very prevalent in other countries. We all want to go and experience the beach and experience the caves and the mountains and our seven wonders, right? Know what you're going to. The other thing with travel alerts is preparedness. Do you know what the climate's going to be? The weeks that you're there. Do you need to plan and prepare rain gear, for example, which might include boots? Your tennis shoes only go but so high. Boots can go up to your knees and help you if you have to wade through water, right? So prepared, family. That's what you want to make sure that you also are aware of, not just the health, but how the environment can impact your fun time. You don't want to spend your entire time sick. I'll give you one example. I have a friend, and she's a regular cruiser, takes cruises regularly. But she always makes sure, she says, Tami, before I get on, I have a patch behind this ear and a patch behind the other ear, because I don't want to get to the point where I'm so nauseous that I haven't adopted the climate of being on a ship, right? I haven't adapted to everything that's going on. And so I didn't give myself an opportunity. Instead, I'm going to be prepared before I start the journey. That's just one example. So make it real simple. You go into a hot place, you want to dress hot, but what does that mean? For example, some desert locations like Egypt, they're not walking around. The Egyptians don't walk around with shorts and t-shirts on. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They wear layers of long sleeves and pants because they cover their skin from sunburn and from the fact that the air is so dry. So what might work in the heat months in the United States might not work in that heat in another country. Got it? Come on, family. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy your life. Prepare can help you make the difference. We hope that reminding you of these tips will help always elevate you as you move forward and be in your best self. And we thank the CDC and those who elevate and keep us aware, right? That we have to know what they know. They're the professionals. And we might know it all, right? We might be amazing at who we are, but you just don't know it all. It's not humanly possible. So let's hear from the experts who say, remember the mosquitoes are out there. Let's stay vigilant. Let's stay mindful. Let's stay deeded up, right? The spray that has the insect repellent. There's citronella plants you can put on your deck if you want to be out there, repels them. Candles, right? There's all these different things we know of the season. Make sure you're prepared. All right. And then make sure, as always, again, going to say it a third time, you seek your medical professional. If you're not feeling 100%, I say it this way to people. If something feels abnormal, it's not your normal aches, your normal sore, it's usually an issue. Get it checked out before it becomes something that's so overbearing that you wish you had. Many of us who, for example, walk, I'm an avid walker. I walk every day, miles, right? I do what I can anyway. There's some days I can't, but I know what sore feels like from walking. Now, pain, I can understand feels different because I'm used to my sore. I'm used to, okay, that was a good workout. Let me just take a hot shower. Let me spray some Bengay Icy Hot, Absorbing Junior, all of that. When whatever else I need to rub in my knees and stuff so that I'm good and moving the next day. I have my ritual. I know those things. But if I hurt or injure myself, or if that pain that I never had before is a new pain, that's when it's abnormal. Make sure that you seek help so that whatever it is, it's better to get in front of it. Remember that saying that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. What that means is if I put all of my time and my effort into being my best self with every day, every meal, every decision, then it will help me as I age. Instead of me sitting in the emergency room for 7 hours waiting to be seen, and then sitting in the back room, all because I just didn't do these things. Individuals, for example, who have dietary restrictions, they're used to meal preparation. Yeah, they're used to taking time on Sunday and preparing for the week. People who have kids, they're used to preparation. They know, let's do lunches, and this is what I have to have for after school snacks. And right, we work in a way where we're preparing ourselves for the best self. You have to do the same thing. And certainly wouldn't you want to for you? Come on, we need you living your best life. Sometimes that just means being prepared. As you move forward, family, consider what you need to grow in, what knowledge can help you, and what you can use to help better your family, your community. And it might be you being the voice of reason in it all. And that kind of segues into a question we received from a viewer who has an issue. Okay. I'm going to Tammy her email. This was a lady who sent this email. She identified her name, but I'll be holding it. She basically was saying that she's having issues trying to build relationships with her new neighbors. She recently moved into a new community. She's a little eccentric. She used that word, and she said she's having issues building relationships with her neighbors. So she said she would be open to any suggestions. Well, you came to the right place, because one thing we have here is suggestions. So here, the reason I segued it with the earlier CDC alerts is because you could be a very wonderful resource to your neighbors, and that's a great way to engage, right? When you find that there's difficulty, that you're vibing with someone, usually doing something positive is what helps that. So think about it this way. If you had a neighbor who blasted them, and this isn't you, this is not what the writer told me, this is just an example. If you had a neighbor who was a nuisance by whatever you determined that nuisance to be, okay? Maybe loud music is a nuisance to you. Maybe having guests super late into the morning hours and all you hear is talking for people is a nuisance to you. Maybe someone who has a lot of animals, they have 20 pets, and so the smell or their pets always on your yard, maybe that's a nuisance to you, right? Whatever it is that you would qualify as a nuisance. If you had a neighbor that was that way to you, okay, how would you broker a dialogue with them? Okay, let's switch it. Let's say you have a neighbor who is super duper opposite of that, right? Their lawn is cured and they're, immaculate in how they do things. You don't hear a peep, right? You don't know if they have pets because you very rarely hear them, or if you do, they're so quiet, right? They don't have guests late and they're totally opposite. But they seem mean. Every time you say good hello or good day, they go, or no response. Maybe they've stood there and just stared at you even while you tried to speak to them, right? Maybe they weren't a nuisance, but they weren't neighborly. I share those two examples because in both scenarios, you have no control over those people. That's why I shared those scenarios. Yeah, the one that has the pets and the loud music and people all hours of the night, you got the quiet, just not nice. Or at least not pleasant or not engaging. Maybe they're nice. You don't know. But you can't control either of them. And they can be living right next to you. How do you broker a relationship? How do you try to be neighborly? How do you be you? You can't make anybody do anything. My Nana said it this way. My Nana lived to be 99. She said, honey, you can't make no grown folk do nothing, in her broken English. It wasn't until I was in my 40s that I really understood what she meant. But I got it. You can't control someone else. I love this question because it really becomes the, how do I deal with me in it? Well, I'll gladly give you some recommendations. Positive energy, positivity, you being you and consistent is first. So I'll give you an example. My husband and I recently moved into a new community. We recently bought a house. God blessed us to be able to do that. Well, we're in our particular area, the only one of us as color. My husband rides a motorcycle. He's the only motorcycle that comes in and out. So they have to deal with that noise. And they don't know anything about us. We have grandbabies that go out and ride bikes and everything. So in a new community, we decided to do the positive, the nice. Hi, we're Tammy and we're Danye, and we just wanted to introduce ourselves. Now, I have a neighbor that doesn't give me the time of day. Laughs and everything when my husband comes out the door. Do I care? Nope. I'm not going to stop being me. I still, every time I see her, say, hey, good morning, sis, and keep it moving. say hi to her kids, ask them how school is. Her husband say good morning, keep it moving. I'm not going to change me. What you are, however, going to see is my positivity. I'm going to put my energy with you into a positive exchange. Right? I'm not, for example, the nuisance that had the cats and or the dogs or whatever. I'm not going to every time I see you go, oh my God, your pets stink. Right? Because now that's the exchange. It's only going to be negative from there forth. I don't know anything about that. I don't know what's going on with her situation. If I need to call animal control, I know I have that ability to do that. But as far as being neighborly, when she sees me, morning, keep it moving. The one that's not nice, exact same consistency, same energy every time you see me. Good morning. Keep it moving. And I don't do it expecting a return. I do it and keep it moving because I'm going to give the energy that I want to portray. Now, at some point, dialogue started breaking with certain neighbors in our new community. Some with my husband and a few with me. But I don't do it with expectation. I don't do it expecting y'all to come over every day and have dinner with me or expecting your kids to play with my grandbabies. There's no expectation here. This is our home. We're enjoying our life and we're going to be neighborly, positive. Hey, good to see you. Keep it moving. With tips, if you feel like you want to do something, we also are very courteous. We know, we've looked, we've checked out. So we know, okay, so they're that type of community. We've seen if they have the garb on from their culture to stay aware, right? We've seen if others start to play together and do certain things together. We're just really curious. We stay aware. We know what's going on. And then, of course, nowadays, everybody has a Ring camera on their door, on their house. So everybody's seeing everything anyway. But what you have the action over is you. You want to have something and invite everybody over? Why not? We're just going to have a cookout, hot dogs, hamburgers. Just wanted to welcome you. You're welcome to come. Can even put it in a flyer, put it in people's mailbox. Just say hi. You just wanted to let you know you're welcome. We're going to have a few family over. You're welcome to come to the cookout if you like. Right? It doesn't have to be a long thing. It's just a welcome. They may never come. But there's the polite, consistent side of you. Yeah, why not? I think the difference becomes understanding that neighbors share community and the power that you have to bring something to that community that's unique. And how is it unique? Like they never had it before? Because you've never been there before. You're the unique one. See, the house we just bought and moved into was previously occupied. Right? So this isn't new. However, Tami being in this is new. I get to put the Tami on, folks. Whatever that looks like, however it looks. There's some neighbors, as I walk my community, and I walk almost every day, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. I see now, oh, you're walking two dogs. You just came out their house. Okay, you got pets. And I keep good to see you and keep it going. It just stays back here as I'm learning my neighbors. Another neighbor I saw a lady trying to carry something to her car as I was walking. So I stopped and said, hey, I got you. Here you go. Here's the bag. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Have a great day. Be blessed. And I started walking. So now I know elderly person lives in that house. Keep walking. Just be you. Now, the difference becomes if things start happening and then you have to figure out what you want to be involved in. That's different. Let's say, for example, another neighbor calls the neighbor who is the nuisance that has the pets. Remember in my example, that wasn't part of the letter. That was, again, just an example. So let's say as one of the nuisance neighbors that they have 20 animals in this house, and someone calls pet control or they call the animal authorities. Well, when you get home and you happen to see all these people there and you see the neighbor having a moment and you see them taking pets out or whatever the issue is, if that's what they do, because she may very well be allowed to groom. There are homes that are approved to groom other animals. So there's dogs that they decide they're going to have a kennel in the backyard and they're going to breed dogs. Well, that's not illegal if they went through the proper making sure that they're allowed to do that on their personal property. Okay, so then now you know. But you have a choice, let's say in that matter, where in the scenario where she's or the neighbors on the front lawn and they're having a moment and people are taking animals, let's say that's the worst case scenario, right? Well, then you have a decision on how you're going to share your positivity. If you do, if you decide to keep walking and going to your house, you have that right. You just asked for tips. You wrote into me. But you also have the opportunity to go and say, how can I help? Oh my goodness. How can I help? You want some water or something? And even if you just stand there, I'm going to be right here in case you need me to make a phone call. Is there someone you need me to call? Right? Like you can put you on the person. You can offer. If they say no, thank you, get out my face. I don't want to get away from me. If they, whatever they might say, again, you can't control them. Then I'm always here to help. God bless you. Keep it moving. Walk into your home. Right? Not saying it's easy because now I see you. Now you popped off on me. So now I have to figure out how we're going to maneuver with this. Or if not, and you just continue with your good morning. See, there was a commercial years ago. It was for a deodorant. And the commercial said, never let them see you sweat. I've adopted that as a professional mindset. Just because doesn't mean I have to let you see that's what's happening. There's a scripture in the Bible. I'm a Christian. And for those of us in faith, in the Christianity faith, there's a scripture in the Bible that says in Proverbs, even a fool seems wise in silence. You don't know they're a fool till they start talking, till they start speaking, and ignorance flows, right? So in silence, they could seem as poised, as knowledgeable. You don't know what they're thinking. So maybe sometimes your reaction with your neighbors is no reaction. Maybe it's you being consistently you and the amazingness that comes with that. I know I look fly sometimes when I'm getting ready to go to church and I have my hat on and I have all my, right? And I know the neighbors are watching. I get in my car, looking cute, go to church, get my praise on, come on back, right? Praise and walking in the door. Got my gospel music blasting. I'm enjoying my relationship with my God, right? So I'm good with me. And then most times I switch out clothes. I put on my oversized sweatshirt, baseball cap, or bandana, whatever I need. And now I'm walking, blasting the same gospel music, walking the neighborhood. Not paying attention to anybody because I'm speed walking. But what you see is what you get. So then it becomes, oh yeah, she's always saying hello as they're talking to each other and not to me. Or yeah, she walks around, or hey, the girl with the Atlanta sweatshirts, or whatever it is they saw me in, the one that walks in hope and fight cancer, right? Because I wear stuff that says stuff. I try to walk around in t-shirts that have a message on them. But that's what they get. You want to know what to do to broker relationships with people that are new in your circle? Just be you, as amazing as you are. And I would also share that with folks who are starting a new job. Maybe you're in a new relationship, joining a new church. Maybe you're part of a civic association and you just took on a new role. See, people are only going to know you by what you perceive, what you give them, what you present. So if you present smiles and positivity, that's what folks are going to always remember about you. But if you're quick to cuss, if you're quick to fuss, if you're quick to and then people are going to determine, do I want that energy around me? I actually, the real story, I actually was going to lose my job. I was on a temp assignment, 2-year temp assignment. Got to the last 2 weeks of my assignment. They'd already given me the letter saying, we're going to miss you, had a little going away, all of that. I was temp. I knew from the beginning that this was a 2-year job, but I was hoping it would be enough for me to have on a resume to get a new job. So I started job hunting, all of that kind of stuff. Well, at this same job was another young lady no one liked because she was always nasty in meetings, always telling off people on the phone. So it was messing with their customers and their bottom line. My last week, as I'm packing up my office, the CEO came in and said, how would you like to stay permanently? I said, I'd love to stay permanently. What can I do to help? I did not know the day before they fired the nasty young lady and said, starting today, you're now assuming this position. Had nothing to do with that position, didn't know anything about that position. They made a choice I had nothing to do with to choose to terminate a longtime employee and retain someone who they knew was going to be temporary. Why? Because I exuded positivity. I showed positive energy. I say good morning every morning. Good morning, good people. It's how I walked in the door every morning consistently. Sure, how can I help? I'm sorry. As soon as I end with this call, I'll come see how I can. Like, not that I was catering to people, right? But I was just positive. I stayed employed. I didn't know that was a thing, that they were even considering firing her. I hated to hear that. She seemed, I don't want to hear anybody getting unemployed. But I sure did step into that and do what I had to do. And then 10 years later, kept climbing that ladder with that agency before it helped me get to the next level. What's that have to do with anything? I couldn't control her. I even couldn't control the CEO to even think about keeping me. All I could do was whatever I did consistently every day that made people, at least behind doors and in rooms and conversations I wasn't in, remember my positive energy. So again, to my viewer who says, I just need tips because I have new neighbors. If you're new on a job, whatever you're new to, the best thing you can do is be the amazing you. If that means upgrading your knowledge, upgrading your personality, if that means like deciding, I want to be different here. I don't want to, I did feel negative back there. I always had migraines and, I think I want to make sure that I'm in a happy space. I want to go to work. I didn't like going to work there. Well, now I have a new job, a new opportunity, and I want to make this where I enjoy it. So that means you do have to a little more. That might mean you have to be silent a little more. It might mean you have to be courteous a little more. But why not? If it's ultimately going to benefit you living in a community that you're enjoying, if it's going to benefit you on a job you enjoy, if it's going to benefit you being a happy you and enjoying life, then it's worth it. Family, we hope this segment was so successful in helping you to be the best you. There we go. Remember, our goal here is to always equip, educate, empower, and elevate everyone because you are the difference maker in your world that ultimately has effect on a bigger world. So we need you and everything inside of you to move forward and make a difference. As always, we thank our first responders, our 911 responders, emergency personnel. We thank medical professionals, teachers, caregivers who are caring for our trailblazing, our aunties, uncles, and parents. And we thank you wherever you are. Keep making a difference.